We go 4 big done deals completed out of Chelsea Football Club, which will certainly have a butterfly effect on the transfer market as they line up a big money move for Moises Caicedo. The decks are being cleared at Stamford Bridge. The new dawn for Maurizio Pochettino is about to kick in. We're also going to take a look at the situation with Urian Timber as the #1 journalist from the Netherlands, Mike Vivale, claims the player is only focused on joining Arsenal. Personal terms fully agreed. That deal closing into completion as well. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the Football Terrace. Let's go. Kovacic to Manchester City. Here we go. Deal will complete between the two football clubs. Mendy to Saudi. Here we go. The deal will complete. Chelsea have another exit on their hands. Koulibaly to Saudi. Here we go. Chelsea removing from their ranks. Ziyech to Saudi. Here we go. Another deal reached. 4 major exits out of Chelsea in just one day. This is massive. This is huge. This is exactly what Chelsea fans have been looking for. They know they needed to clear those decks. Idealistically, before bringing in the new players, 4 big names out. Kante, of course, having already gone. That maybe, just maybe, is the starting point. Mount and Kai Havertz on the precipice, on the edge of leaving as well. And how much money is going to be raised here? We know it's 30 million. 30 million pounds have gone and got for Kovacic. 30 million. It's a lot of money for 1 year left on the deal for a 29-year-old. Excellent business. Now, there's differing reports on Mendy, on Ziyech, on Koulibaly. But I'm seeing totals of around 60 million. So you're talking nearly 100 million pound raised through the sale of these individuals. By the way, some of these, as you know, are exclusive to Fabrizio Romano. He's also suggested as well, by the way, that Callum Hudson-Odoi could be on his way to Saudi as well. He could be on his way to Saudi Arabia. So that could be a 6th, 7th, 8th. People said they wouldn't get rid of more than 10. They're already on nearly 8 this summer already. Chelsea's rebuild, Chelsea's rebirth is underway. Will it be successful? Only time is going to tell. But what does it mean for the here and now? Well, Felix Johnson has claimed this morning that these exiting players now will free up the squad space, the wages, and the funds to put in a new formal offer for Moises Caicedo. We know Caicedo is open to joining Chelsea. We know that their lack of Champions League football is not going to be a problem for him. That isn't going to be an issue in any way, any shape, or in any form. We know they've already bid 60 million pounds 2 weeks ago, courtesy of the brilliant David Ornstein. That bid was rejected. They want over 80 million. They're talking up to 120. I think that's a little bit overly optimistic. Chelsea are reportedly going to put in a new 80 million pound bid. Circa 80 million. There may be some add-ons on top of that. Of course, the structure is going to be key. They'll want to spread it over a 5 to 6 year period. It will be a 5-year deal, probably with a year to extend. It might be 4+1, but a number of experts think it'll be 5+1. That way they can extend that period of time that little bit longer. Chelsea's seen, not just by the mainstream media and the transfer experts, but by the bookmakers as well, as the favourites to land Moises Caicedo. You add him into that middle with Enzo, and that midfield is going up another level. That midfield just becomes absolutely elite. Technical ability for days, stamina, work rate, versatility. Of course, it's all got to be knitted together. It's a team sport, of course. But in the cold hard light of day, to get rid of Ziyech, Koulibaly, Mendy, Kante probably had to go with the stage of his career he was at. Hudson-Odoi could be on the way out soon. Mount and Havertz. To clear the ranks that quickly. We're only on the 21st, by the way, a week into the transfer window, a week in, massive business done by Chelsea. I want your thoughts. I want your feelings. I want to understand what's going on. Now, of course, he's joining Manchester City. And for many, many weeks, the theory has been Man City are bringing in Kovacic as a replacement for Gundogan. But this isn't true because Gundogan still hasn't decided on what he wants to do next season. Nothing has been decided surrounding that yet. So a lot of people are sitting there and thinking, well, what's going on? According to Sam Lee, who's a respected journalist at The Athletic, he says that Man City do want Declan Rice, but it would be a replacement for Gundogan. Now, I've been talking about that for a few days now, and a lot of fans online have kind of pushed that back. But that is what the stories are now telling us. So Kovacic is going there anyway. There's a here we go. It's what I'm saying to people. That deal got very, very close very quickly without any kind of indication of what Ilkay Gundogan was doing. So City will only bid for Rice if Gundogan decides to leave. So Kovacic goes in. They're talking about he is the guy that is probably going to be replacing Calvin Phillips because they're exploring the exit of him anyway. So that's what he's going to be doing. He will be the backup to Calvin Phillips, according here to The Athletic. And I want to get your feelings on that. I want to get your understanding of it. I want to know what you make of that situation. We know that City might go in for Declan Rice, but they won't do that until after the Gundogan situation, and Arsenal are going to try and clear that up. Now, moving on to Arsenal here. This is from Mike Vervael. Now, Mike Vervael is the Netherlands version of David Ornstein when it comes to what's going on over there. If there's a big story coming out of Dutch football, this man knows about it. And he says here that Urian Timber is only focused on the transfer to Arsenal. Even if Bayern Munich was still to place an offer for him, a transfer would remain a big question mark. The lack of playing time his three teammates received at Bayern Munich plays a role in this. It just goes to show right now the Premier League, I think, generally speaking, has a huge pull when that team is firing on all cylinders. Arsenal. And I'll talk about yesterday on the Straight Fact Show at League Gunner. I understand that coming second and coming seventh equals the same amount of Premier League titles. But in terms of your status in the game, the attraction, the pull, the buzz, the enthusiasm to play for you, it changes things if Arsenal are a team competing for Premier League titles and potentially competing for Champions League titles going into the 23-24 season. There is a huge fundamental difference between being an also run and being one of the best teams in one of the best teams in the best league in the world. It gives you a different status. That status is attractive. Doesn't mean you get all your targets. Doesn't mean you can sign everybody in the world. That is, again, an extreme, hyperbolic, again, overly simplifies, reductionist theory to hold on football. But it shows Arsenal have got massive pull here. He has an agreement with Arsenal. He's agreed on personal terms. As of right now, the 21st of June, 2023, he wants to be an Arsenal player. There is a lot of optimism that an agreement is very close to being found, somewhere in the region of 35 to 40 million pounds. Personal terms are no problem. The player is basically telling Bayern Munich no, which is another big L for Bayern Munich this summer, by the way. So many players have gone for, looked at, who have just said, we don't want to be there, we don't want to play there. And I think this could, I said it in a few streams now, this is a potentially fantastic piece of business for Arsenal. It's an improvement. By the way, I think Tomiyasu is great, but it's an improvement on Tomiyasu. This man is every bit as good, if not better, than Ben White. He can play centre back and he can play right back. And at the same time, he's a huge improvement at centre back on Holding. I don't subscribe to this notion that you should only buy players that are better than the people in your first team. As your first team reaches a certain level, that becomes a very difficult task to fulfill. But Urian Timber, hugely talented player. I know, again, a lot of people think versatility is a sign of a money saving scheme. I disagree. There always has been and always will be versatile players. Gareth Bale was a versatile player. He could play on the left and he could play on the right. Cristiano Ronaldo in his pomp could play left, right, and center. Messi could play left, right, and center. Mbappe can play center, left, and on the right. Neymar can play wide on the left. He can play in the support striker role. That's versatility. The very best players in the world, Paul Scholes, the greatest midfielder in Premier League history, could play attacking midfield. He even played striker at times, play central midfield, holding midfield. That's versatility. Ryan Giggs, one of the greatest wingers to ever grace football, became a top central midfield player that dominated the Premier League and won Premier League titles in his mid to late 30s. That is versatility. Thierry Henry could play on the left and he could play centrally, as an example. Bukayo Saka, who is the shining beacon of light at Arsenal right now, can play right and left-hand side of the attack. He can also play in a fullback role. That versatility is a brilliant tool to have. I don't think signing up Saka to a new deal is a cost-saving exercise, so they don't have to buy a backup right back, a backup left back, and a backup player for Martinelli because they have Saka. I don't think it works that way. Again, it's so reductionist and over the top. But I suppose banter is banter is banter. This is going to be a phenomenal piece of business for Arsenal if they get the deal to a completed stage. I want all of your views, all of your opinions in the comments section below. Make sure the bell notification button is turned on as well. I know 3,000 of you have signed up to that in the last few days. That is overwhelming. Let's get another 3,000 of you. All you got to do is click it. You know when we go live or post new content. Take care. Goodbye. God bless. And I'll see you all again soon. Thank you.